Hello friends, welcome to yet another session of knowledge representation. We already saw how knowledge is represented, we saw propositional logic, we saw predicate logic. Now today we'll talk about semantic net and frames to represent the knowledge. Let us start with semantic net. So semantic networks are an alternative to predicate logic as a form of knowledge representation. Predicate logic we already seen in previous videos. If you have not gone through it, please go through it. It's a knowledge representation technique used for propositional information. So it is also called as propositional net. It's a two-dimensional representation of knowledge. Knowledge can be stored in the form of a graph with nodes representing objects in the world and arcs representing the relationship between those objects. It's like a graph, right? We have nodes and the edges which connect the nodes. But here you have the nodes which are connecting in only direction, in unidirection. Like this is a directed graph. Right? So it consists of nodes. Nodes are nothing but the objects, concepts, situations, and arcs or links are nothing but the relationship between them. So you have the objects, and these objects are connected to the links, and links represents the relationship between those objects. So mathematically, a semantic net can be defined as a labeled directed graph. So its representation consists of mainly two types of relations. Is a relation which is nothing but our inheritance and kind of relation. So for nodes, labels indicates the name of the object and nodes can be the instances that is an individual object or a class that is a generic node. Now let us see how the relations are shown. So you have two relations that is a relation and kind of relation. If you look at it now, Varna and Audi is a car. Varna is a car, Audi is also a car. So if you look at carefully, Varna and Audi are instances of the class car, right? Now, Varna has headlight, Audi also has headlight. Is it fine? These are the attributes we can say. Varna has headlight and Audi has headlight. Varna is a car and Audi is a car. Now any car is nothing but it's a kind of pickup van. Car is nothing but a kind of pickup van. Is it fine? It's very simple. You can represent real life entities or situations, right? Now let us look at an example. Now these are the statements given and you need to represent it in a knowledge base using your semantic net. What is the statement? You have a dog called Moti. Moti is a dog. Moti is a mammal. Moti is owned by Nakita. Moti is white in color and all mammals are animals, right? Now, you start with the main entity that is Moti. Like Moti is a dog, right? Moti is colored white. Moti is owned by Nakita. Dog is a type of mammal and all mammals are animal. Is it clear? So it's a very simple way of representation. I think this is the easiest thing in knowledge representation, semantic net. Because our English-like sentences can be represented so easily. Let us look at another example. Now, again here what we have, Charlie is a bird. Charlie can fly. Charlie is yellow color. All birds have wings. A bird is a member of class Aves. Again the same thing, Charlie is a bird, so you can just think of this Charlie as an instance of class bird, right? Bird is derived from the class Aves, right? So Charlie attributes, Charlie, what attributes Charlie has? Charlie is yellow in color and Charlie can fly, right? If you imagine this as a class, then this is a function and this is a attribute. Fine. So Charlie is a bird. Charlie is yellow color. Charlie can fly. Right. Birds have wings. Bird is a of entity of class Aves. Fine. Now, if you look at it carefully, I have put these two in square in a rectangular boxes, but rest are all in a oval shape. Why? If you look them carefully, Charlie is an instance, but bird is a class. Aves is a class, right? So bird, Charlie is an instance of class bird. So this is a class and this is an instance. The drawback here is in this case of semantic net, you cannot differentiate when the representation will not help you in differentiating between a class, a subclass and an instance. because all will be represented like this. Right? Now, there is a link, is a link. You can look at this. Is a link has two different meanings. It can be an object in an individual item from a class, or that one class is a subset of another. Now, if you look at Charlie, Charlie is an object of class bird, and bird is a subclass of class Aves, right? But both are represented using is a relationship. Is it fine? Okay. Now let us look at the advantages of semantic net. These are natural representation of knowledge, as you have already seen the examples. They convey meaning in a transparent manner, because as soon as you look at the graph, the thing is clear what it is representing. These networks are simple and easily understandable. They can be used to represent events and natural language sentences, as the example is already given. The semantics, that is the real world meanings, are clearly identifiable. Fine. Now let us look at the limitations. Semantic networks take more computational time at runtime, as we need to traverse the complete network tree to answer some questions. They try to model human-like memory to store the information. Human-like memory in the sense how we have neurons and all neurons are connected. The same thing is depicted here. But in practice, it is not possible to build such a vast semantic network. These types of representations are inadequate, as they do not have any equivalent quantifiers. We couldn't represent for all, for some, none. There's no way to represent these things. The quantifiers, right? Semantic networks do not have any standard definition for the link names. Link names can be anything. We just show two relationships, right? But it can be anything. There's no standard definition as such. Now, these networks are not intelligent and depend on the creator of the system. No new knowledge can be created using these networks. Okay, so now let us look at the another way of knowledge representation, that is frames. Now, frames are derived from the semantic networks and later evolved into our modern day classes and objects. Right now, what we have, what we are using in our object-oriented programming. A single frame is not much useful. Frame system consists of a collection of frames which are connected. In the frame, knowledge about an object or event can be stored together in the knowledge base. It's a type of technology which is widely used in various applications, including natural language processing and machine visions. So remember, it is nothing but again a class which can be represented using a record type structure. So how do you represent a frame? A frame is a record like structure which consists of a collection of attributes and its values to describe an entity in the world, right? You have a set of attributes which describes that particular class or the object and the values. So frames are the AI data structure which divides knowledge into substructures by representing stereotypes situations. It consists of a collection of slots and slot values. These slots may be of any type and size. Slots have names and values which are facets. So slots will be clear as you see the example. Now, what are these facets? The various aspects of a slot is known as facets. Facets are the features of frames which enable us to put constraints on the frames, like what type of data can be stored. A frame is also known as slot filler knowledge representation. A slot which is filled at a class level represents attributes which are common to all members of that class. Again, I repeat, a slot which is filled at class level represents attributes which are common to all members of that class. Similarly, if it is filled at instance level, that is at object level, it indicates that the value of that attribute varies among the members of that class. That means if you have a class car and you have the instance like Audi, you have instance like Varna, so the attributes, values of the Varna and of the Audi will differ. But at class level, but the attributes of class car will be same, but the instance that is the object of that class will have different values. The slots may be filled with values or with pointers to other objects, right? Now let us look at an example. Here we are representing a book is the object, right? And we are representing it using a flame. The slot Name is the attribute, right? The slots name, the slots are title, generally, these are the attributes, and the fillers are nothing but the values of that particular attribute. Now, to represent a book as a frame, what we have? We have the attributes as title and the value artificial intelligence. Genre is nothing but the computer science. The attribute is author and the value of the attribute is Saroj Kaushik. The year 2011, pages 645. Now, in this whole thing, you can get the whole data about a book, right? But it's not a class book, it is an object of class book. Is it clear? Similarly, you can have a frame for a class book, and this is for an object book. Let us look at another example where a statement is given and how do you represent it using a frame. Now the statement is what? Vivin is an engineer by profession and his age is 22. He lives in city Kolhapur and the country is India. So how do you represent it? Again your slots and the fillers. Now what are the attributes of a person? Name, profession, age, city, country. Now the data is given here. Just put it. Name Vivin, profession engineer, age 22, city he lives in Kolhapur, country is India. Now this whole thing gives you this whole statement can be represented using this single table, which is nothing but a frame. I hope the concept is clear. Now what are the advantages of frame representation? The frame knowledge representation makes the programming easier by grouping the related data. Now looking at it, it must be very clear now how we represent the objects in a object-oriented programming. It's comparably flexible and used by many applications in AI. It is very easy to add slots for new attributes and relations, right? So slots is nothing but the attributes what we're adding. It is easy to include default data and to search for missing values, and also easy to understand and visualize. Let us look at the drawbacks. So what are the disadvantages? Inference mechanism cannot be proceeded by frame representation. Now what is important? Inference is what? Going through the knowledge base and coming up with a new knowledge using the existing knowledge base. So it is very difficult. Inference means deduction of the knowledge is not easy using the frame representation. So frame representation has much generalized approach. Thank you. I hope the concept is clear. Today what we did, we looked at two more techniques of knowledge representation. We spoke about semantic net, which is nothing but the graphical representation, where the objects or the classes are nothing but the nodes, and the links or the edges between these nodes are representing the relationship between those two objects or those two classes. Then we saw another thing, that is a frame, which is a record-like structure, right? Which has slots and the fillers. Now slots are nothing but the attributes and the fillers are nothing but the values which are stored in those attributes. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you.